Here we go. Here we go. Today happens to be the perfect day when it's raining outside and everything's going a little sideways. So this is the perfect day to get those daylight savings or rainy day blues out of the way by jumping into real flight. Before we start, let's take a look at some of the cool stuff that's going on here. It's rather sparkly today. Rather sparkly stuff. All kinds of sparkly stuff is happening over here. Look at that. Look at the sparkles. It's a whole new world with the sparkles. It's a whole new world with the sparkles. Let's take a look at outside real quick. Don't get depressed. It's okay. It's okay. You'll live. You'll live even if it's raining in California for one day. I think you'll be okay. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. Anyway, let's see if we can do some real flight because it's worth it. It's worth it. I love this game. Not really a game. It's a simulator. It's a simulator. And makes me think about a lot of things. But also, it is a good thing that things like this exist because they do really help a lot, at the very least. This is the controller, and I do like this controller. I do like this one because it's old school. It's large, it's easy to hold and all that stuff. For people with smaller hands, there's all kinds of other controllers, but this one, it's just the way that it's made, the way that it's sort of grippy on the bottom. So long as you don't have really tiny hand like Donald Duck's hands, you should be fine. Trust me. And my hands are not humongous either. So anyway, let's go. Why did I bring up Donald Duck? Because in today's world, one thing that happens so often is maybe a message started off with when you start something like, I don't know, Donald Duck's uncle lives in a mansion, and suddenly by the end of the message, with enough people repeat that message, it turns into something like Donald Duck's uncle lives in a station wagon. But anyway, what are you going to do? Right? Life is life, and social media is social media. You start off with one message and you end up with something completely different. Happens all the time. And so long as you don't get that crazy outrage that goes on so often in the modern world, then it's just entertainment. But if you go the other way, then it becomes dangerous because people act on the things that they see on social media, and then it goes out of control. Anyway, I was planning to do some fun stuff outside today. I had all my drone batteries ready, and I was like, let's go. And then I realized that that's probably not the best thing to do on a day like today, because although most brushless motors should be able to survive rainy conditions, but you never know with the acid rain, right? With the acid rain that's going around. You never know what's going to happen to your drone with acid rain, because I'm not sure that acid rain is one of the features that the drone motors can fly through. We'll have to see. We'll have to see on that one. But anyway, today I want to talk about some fun things that I was experiencing earlier. Let's see if we can get this to actually run. Because I was just driving around this morning. I had to do the usual busing. Take people to places. It's one of the things I have to do. So, I think I missed that. Yeah, I missed that. Horrible start to the day. But what I'm going to talk about is something beautiful, something wonderful. So on the way back from one of the hustle and bustles and busing situations, there was a tree branch that had just fallen off. So I was a little bit concerned because it was impeding the bike lane. So if somebody was crazy enough to want to ride their bike on a rainy day, they would not have had a fun time if they had encountered that branch. So I saw that on the way, and then when I was coming back, I was like, okay, well, it was about 10 or 15 minutes later. I was like, oh, maybe, I could go and get rid of that tree, because it probably is a good idea to just get it out of the way. Let's not wait until somebody gets into an accident. I'll just take care of that. But just 10, 15 minutes later, when I was there again, somebody had already done it. So that just shows you how efficient life is in a place like Irvine. And that's why I sing the praises of Irvine, California Woodbridge, because had you been living in, someplace in, like, I don't know, Sicily, maybe, just the paperwork to get somebody to get over to that area where the branch had fallen could take years. I mean, the inefficiency of the system is so bad over there that my dad used to make jokes about stuff like that. That he said that, if your regular run of the mill sign, like a stop sign, was to be knocked over, it'd probably take you about 2 years to get the paperwork sorted out and somebody to go over there and get that fixed and replaced. So there are some amazing things about living in Irvine, which, are definitely noteworthy, and worth writing home about, if you catch my drift. Wow, I was able to get through that track. No shabouncing required, and in this case, if you try to shabounce, you will definitely knock into something, and that will not be good. That will not be good. And these particular tracks, you're too far away from the ground to be able to shabounce. You got to S-bang or shebang is how I like to call it. So anyway, this is a really fun course. Guys. Oh no. No, it is not an easy course. I just wish we could get more of that glare away. Let me just see if there's a way we can get rid of some of that glare. That glare is terrible. Let's see if that does anything to improve on the glare. No, no. Do we do this to reduce the glare? Does that work? I don't know. This is one of the things that I'm not super happy about the modern screens. I think that in some cases, Apple, with certain screens, not all their screen, but there are a few screens that they made which were really good with the anti-glare. I don't know. That kind of really annoys me when that happens, and I'm not sure if there's any way to cover it up, or does that? No, it does nothing at all. It does nothing at all to help or improve. Sometimes with the FPV, like you're using the analog, something like that might work over there. But in this case, it does not. I'm not sure what can be done to improve the overall thing. And strange thing going on here. Maybe if we zoom in a little bit more, zoom out a little bit more. No, the glare is just won't go away. So it's less, I guess it's less annoying on the brighter ones. How dirty is the screen? Oh no, that's just the starry sky. That's just the starry sky, guys. That's just the starry sky. I get comments all the time how dirty the screen is. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. But it's self-cleaning, they tell me. Microsoft has self-cleaning screens, they tell me. So anyway, yeah, just showing you guys I took some videos and then I got home, and for once, probably not the Akaso itself, but the probably the micro SD card that I used in my Akaso decided to not record the very last video, which is where the thing was recorded on. And I'm not sure why that happened. But I wanted to show you guys the branch and then the timestamp so you guys could see, like, just a few minutes later how it already had been resolved and I didn't have to do anything at all. I was planning to get wet. I'm not a fan of jumping in the rain and getting wet, but I was planning to do a funny video of me getting wet and removing that branch, but somebody had already done it. So that is the efficiency that you can expect from Irvine, which is unbelievable. I mean, I don't know. It'd be nice to know in other people's towns and counties and states how efficient things are over where you are compared to Irvine and what I just described here. Wow, that thing is just really in a difficult spot to get to. Whoa! Oh, I am not having a Mr. Steel moment over here. I'm not. I was hoping I could just wing it through this course. This course is very difficult. This course is very, very difficult. So since I am not, clearly not Mr. Steel quality level here, I'm struggling with this a lot. Now, they tell me that pinching is the way to go, but I'm not a pincher. I'm not a pincher. And although I have tried pinching, sometimes pinching with one and then regular on the throttle works for me. I might have to do that in this. I don't know. It's not easy to fly in these very, very close quarters. This is why I keep telling and stressing people who want to get into the hobby. If you want to get into the hobby and you want to go and fly in small spaces like that, do not get yourself one of those fancy whoops without the prop guards. Work your way into those. You guys saw me fly the other day with my amazing, and I love that quad so much, the Happy Model Mantis 85. It is so cool. I love it. But if you don't want to spend all day replacing props when you're a beginner, then get something like the Iron Quad, or get something like the Happy Model. I think it's Mob Light 7 or something like that. That is what. Oh man, you see that? All it takes is one little excess on the throttle, and you're gonna hit the top of a ceiling or something. It'll destroy your prop, and you will not be having a good time. Again, this is not something that I'm gonna say that every pilot experiences. I'm just telling you, if you are a beginner pilot or intermediate pilot, just stay away from those things. You are not going to be a successful pilot, especially if you want to do live streams or you want to just record some videos in the very beginning. Don't make it so hard on yourself by getting yourself quads without prop guards. It is just not worth it. Once you get to expert level, which I'm not even close, then you can go ahead and do that. But don't set yourself up to fail when you're learning something new. Don't just set yourself up to fail. There is no point in going into let's say ballet and starting on point shoes. Don't. Oh, but the awesome people can do it. They're the cool kids can do it. Work your way up. to your goals. And it can be extra frustrating for people like me. It can be extra frustrating because the learning curve is just crazy. Most people learn this stuff very fast. Some people have said in a couple of months you can go from beginner to intermediate. For me, it's taken years to get to a level where I'm like, okay, well, I think that I can consider myself competent at this point. It's taken. What the heck? An error occurred. Would you like to send an error report? I don't know. Would I? Would I? Would I? It depends on how much wood you have. If you have a lot of wood, then you definitely would. I don't know. Anyway, get this out of the way real quick. Let's get back into real flights. What was that all about? I was doing well for a second. I was like all excited. I'm getting through those loops. Rectangles. Let's be very specific. So, not sure what to do. Not sure what to do there. What are you going to do? The thing crashed. So we'll get back into that in a second. So we'll see how that works. Back in the game. Get back in the game. We are in Real Flight Evolution, and we were trying to shebang around this really cool course, and then it crashed. The reason it crashed is unknown. Mission unknown. But if we can figure it out, we will. If we can figure it out, we shall. So anyway, let's get back into the thing. So we talked yesterday we talked about Elon. And we can take this second to remember this really cool place. If you haven't had the most amazing vegan pancakes, go check them out. There's also a lot more other than vegan pancakes that they do over there. But the squirrels like Chip will highly recommend it. And so will I. Since we had a little crash, let's remind Horizon Hobby and thank them a lot for sending us this amazing game, because that is a really cool thing when a company is willing to do something like that. I was not able to take them up on the offer to purchase that cool Arma. What is it? I think it's the Arma Felony. I was not able to purchase that. I wanted to for the Christmas tree, the decorations. I was not able to find an investor willing to throw $3 my way on short notice. So the offer expired. It was a limited time offer where they gave me 5% off, I think it was, and a coupon. There was a coupon plus another coupon, so they lowered the price where I was almost able to buy it. So I think I was double checking because of the if you buy anything underneath a certain amount, Horizon Hobby does not give you free shipping. So the shipping was what killed it in the end. But I may still decide to purchase it later on should I receive enough funding from PayPal or people buying stuff off of CG Trader or whatever it is. I may still be able to buy it later on. So was not able to pick that up just yet, but you can't make things work all the time. Sometimes things work and sometimes they don't. I'm just really grateful that they sent me this cool thing, because there is, they don't tell you this, but there is a rain season in California. And when that rain season does hit, droning is not, like going out and flying planes and stuff is not always going to be ideal. And there's also a wind season where if you're not an experienced pilot, that could definitely caused some issues there. Wow. I was pretty sure that I've beaten this level, but we've gone back to do it again, and today I think that I've gone back to being a drone pilot virgin, and it's like I've lost my touch. I've lost my touch all the way. So there we go. And we can go. No, 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 no. Yes, yes, no, 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 no. OMG, OMG. I should be able to do by now, right? I've been clocking, I think we'll double check, but I think 50 hours, maybe more than 50 hours of flight. By now, most people would be able to do this, no problem, without having to constantly turn around and do more of the turnage. By now, most people would be able to do that. So don't go by how you watch and how you see me fly. If you get the simulator, when you're about 50 hours in, you should be able to do a lot more stuff that the experts can do. Wow. Wow, that was bad. That was really bad. That was really bad. But again, if you don't want to worry about any of this stuff and you really want to fly in real life, currently your best option until the FAA stuff comes in, I think possibly next year is going to be the year. I'd need to double check with the experts. Experts being like Joshua Bardwell, Ken Heron, and a bunch of other people who follow all the drama that goes on with the FAA and all that stuff. Pilot Institute would also be able to tell you stuff. So you could find out about that. But once that comes into play, I think you will no longer be able to fly anything that is over 250 grams without having your Part 107. So if there ever was a time to buy the Avata and to learn how to fly FPV in the easiest way possible, because it's got like self-leveling and all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about using two sticks or anything like that. It's got this motion controller thing that makes it so easy that anybody can fly it even one-handed. So yeah. So this is way more challenging, what you're seeing me do here, than flying the Avata. The learning curve on that thing is pretty much zero, because it self levels. It stays in place. It hovers in place. And if you use it with that motion controller that everybody makes fun of, especially me, then it'll be super easy to get into FPV. I think that is probably why DJI made it the way that they did, and they got so much hatred for it. I mean, the internet went wild over it. But anyway, it's quite hilarious what happened there. But there's a lot of pilot envy, and a lot of that is caused by the new regulations that came into play. I'm sure that drone was many years in the making, and so they had a lot of limitations, such as sensors and everything like that, chips, and all those things that you need to get something like that to exist. And so nobody was expecting life to just suddenly suck with new FAA regulations and stuff. So if the drone had come out 5 years earlier, they would have got pretty much no negative comments from anybody. Everybody, like if the Avata had been released 5 years ago, man, the YouTube or the internet would have been just awesome comments all the way around. But they had the unfortunate circumstance of deciding to release it just when the FAA had come out with regulations saying that anything over 250 grams is going to be a no-no unless you have the right pilot license and stuff. So that just created all kinds of. It just created a dumpster fire, and then very unlucky circumstances. But you know what I'm going to say is this. Part of the reason why DJI is getting so much heat over this Avata is just because there is no competitor out there who is even doing anything like that. I mean, you can go look at Fimi, which I love. You can go check out Hubsan, which I also love as a company. You can go check out any of those counter. You can check out Autel. I've never flown an Autel, so I can't tell you if they're good or not. But based on some of the reviews that I've seen from other people, it looks pretty good too. I wouldn't mind flying an Autel, testing out an Autel. But none of those companies have created anything that's even remotely similar to an Avata. So maybe that is the problem right there. We need somebody from a different company to create something like that. You know, to take some of the heat. Just come on, let's take some of the heat off the Avata and DJI. Man, they've been brutalized on the internet. They have been brutalized on the internet. And not saying that I was not part of the problem, definitely part of the problem, because, you know, you need clickbait in order for your channel to get anywhere. So I jumped on the let's make fun of DJI machine. But again, you know, when I make those videos, I always explain it over and over again to everybody because, you know, first impressions, I make horrible first impressions, but the purpose to that is just plain comedy. And if you guys look at how many videos I have shot with the DJI Mini 2, you will notice that it's most likely the digital drone that is assisted and cool camera and all that stuff that I've flown the most. The Hubsan Xeno Mini SE is a close second, but most of the videos that I've shot with that are very recent. And I would have never had the confidence to buy that one had I not learned how to fly. Had I not learned how to fly on the DJI Mini 2. So, you know, credit, you know, should be assigned where it's worth, you know, where it's deserved. If I hadn't got the confidence to fly something like DJI Mini 2, I would have never bought the other one. So it's like you can't just jump to conclusions there on stuff. I'm trying to find an easier path that allows me to fly through things. And that seemed to be good. That seemed to be good until I destroyed the drone props. Again, for this, this is great, and it helps you out. Because if you are going to be one of those people who are like, oh, no, it's fine. I'm just going to go and straight on. I'm going to learn to dance on points right away. Because, you know, that's what the cool kids do. And what's the point of practicing for, let's say, 5 years first, at least? Probably need about 5 years of training not on points before you get into points to make sure your ankles and all your muscles and everything they're all strong enough so that when you put points on, you don't destroy your body or just rip a tendon, or all kinds of things could happen. Or if you're still growing and you're too young to wear points, you just don't destroy the bones in your feet and stuff, right? Anyway, those are my thoughts. They're always thoughts that go against the thoughts of most people, but, you know, what are you going to do? Can I make it through this course? No, I cannot. This is really wild. Maybe I'm going to try pinching on one. I'm going to pinch on one. and I'ma regulate the throttle the way that I'm used to on the other and see if there is. And a couple of times I have noticed that it is true. There is definitely there is definitely something that can be said about pinching, which does give you a certain level of control. Because again, the thumb always works better than the index finger when it comes to giving you the right amount of control. It is just the way that it is. And sometimes with pinching, you have dual control, of course, because you've got two fingers running there, and that gives you even more control somehow if I don't destroy it. And again, I'm not an expert pincher, but I'm willing to try it to show you guys that there is some merit there to be given about pinching. Again, I would not do double pinching because I cannot control the throttle on pinching. But when it comes to certain accuracy, the pinching does help a lot. It does slow you down, for sure. For instance, if you're trying to fly FPV indoors, the pinching could be the way to go, especially if you are heavy-footed on the throttle, which can happen to beginners a lot. It has happened a lot. Okay, I think we made it through this bit. Can we go through this as well? Where's the next one? There it is. Slow. Slow. And through this one. We've got 30 seconds to beat this. And I don't know where the next... Oh, there it is. Slow. Slow, but not too slow that you're going to miss it. Come back to me. Come back to me. No. I could have done it because I think there were only like two gates left. 2 gates left. Let's see. Let's see here. Woo, man, this is not easy for me at all. Again, the learning curve is not as steep as it is for me. Most likely you will, if you buy this game, you will not struggle as much as I have been struggling to get through this. Oh, come on. This time I did not give it enough throttle to get through there. Last try, and then we will do something else real quick. But anyway, a lot of controversy has been going through everybody's minds these days because of the Twitter thing going on. And some people now are like, well, hey, you guys were ranting about that Zuckerberg so much, but Mark doesn't seem so bad now, does he now? And so that's interesting. That whole thing was pretty interesting to see. So let's see. Let's get through this one more time. And I'm completely out, so I'm gonna fly out of the way and come right back and see if we can get in there this way. Not bad, not bad. Got poles in the way. Got poles in the way. Some of them you don't see because it's dark, but this is a great way to learn. I'm not advocating or telling people to go out and fly in the dark, but if you're gonna fly in the dark, make sure you do, at least 50 or 60 hours of flight through a simulator to get used to it before you actually do it in real life and find out that you hit a tree. What just happened? I don't know. Anyway, guys. So I was digressing there. Let's talk about Elon Musk real quick. And it's going to be a little bit of a short live, but I might come back to this later and do another live later on. What haven't we done? We haven't done grapple today. Can we beat one of the most difficult levels ever made? We'll see. So, yeah, the forums on Quora have been out of control. Excuse my burp. Excuse my burp. Sometimes this happens. I've had no breakfast, trying to lose weight, and sometimes that'll do it right there. It'll bring up the burps. I'm eating 1 meal per day. Trying to get fancy. No, just kidding. All right, let's put this over here, somewhere in the middle of the screen. And that should hopefully help us out a little. I'm not sure if you can expand the size of the port. Can you expand? No, you can't expand the size. Maybe you can. I just don't know how. So we learned that you need to turn around like you're spinning the wheel, and then it allows you to get up. Once you're up, you can attempt to find your way to that box after you hover, and we can try picking it up. Let's see. Gently. We don't want to hit the ring. We want to go over the ring and get the box. Or we can go around the ring. And this is very, very difficult to do, guys. It is super difficult to do. But we're trying. We are trying to get in there. So yeah, I was talking about stuff going on with Elon Musk. So it is the battle of the Titans and the battle of the future, because one wants to bring everything back into the office kind of deal, and the other wants everything to be virtual. And I, for one, in this particular instance, am standing really on the side of Mark here, in the sense that I was a big fan of virtual learning, except for the part where you had to help your children with homework. That was the one thing that sucked about virtual learning, because you want the children to be able to finish their classes, and then to be able to do the homework on their own, or have virtual assistants in order for that to work. Without that, it was terrible. It was terrible. It was horrible. It was just because otherwise the parent has to basically stay with the child throughout the class, which I did. But some of the stuff that they learn or they teach is slightly different from the stuff that you may have learned, especially if you were living in a different country. And so then you don't really know how to help your child with the homework, and so it gets bad. I mean, it gets bad for some people, like me. Maybe for other like super intelligent human beings, it was perfect. But for me, it was pretty challenging, and so as I learned things differently, but also I suck at math. So yeah. And one of the things that you learn here in Irvine, which is in some ways it's a positive, in some ways a negative, is the parents are very involved in the lives of the children. So in other places, your child goes to school to learn, but in Irvine, your child goes to school to show off everything they learned from their parents at home. So it's if you're not the best at teaching your children at home, that could be a bit of a put off in that regard, especially if you have to help your children with their homework later on. It could be a little bit daunting for some parents. Anyway, so I was a big fan, and I'm still a big fan of the whole like virtual learning thing. It is great in some ways. It makes life easier, especially if you have the school provide you with tools such as, I think they were providing Chromebooks and stuff like that to children and stuff like that. Or you could use your own PC and do like Zoom. It was very good. And also, like if you are in a classroom, it depends on where you are situated in the classroom, how well your learning gets. Because if you're, let's say, in the back of the classroom, further away from the teacher, you can't hear or whatever it is, your education is not going to be as good as somebody who is right up front, right next to the teacher and stuff. And then again, in virtual learning, everyone is basically at the same level at that point. And then again, in other ways, it's bad because you don't have the extra assistance of, let's say, a tutor, or let's say sometimes teachers will have helpers in the class and stuff like that. So where it becomes better to have in person is, for instance, for all the art projects and stuff, because it gets messy in the house and stuff. So maybe the best way is the concept of hybridity. So a mixture between the two is where it's at. So if you want, your kids to do PE, send them to school. But if they're learning like, math, English, history, or whatever it is, physics, whatever it is, so long as you're not having to do like practical training, it can totally be done in virtual, and that saves, commutes and all that stuff. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the future of the world moves forward, whether it's going to be the Mark Zuckerberg style of doing things in the Matrix, or it's going to be more of the Elon Musk, let's get everybody back to work every single day of the week kind of deal. Which, to be honest, I am very opposed to, because, that can really take a toll on some families, and that can also take a toll on mental health. If you're always getting away from home all the time, away from your kids, away from your family for too long, you need to have, and it is kind of strange as well for someone who, like Elon Musk, is, you would say, pretty conservative. The fact of, the family, I don't know, a lot of people are trying to get rid of the family units and all that's, and what that stands for. But you would expect someone who's so conservative like him to be all about the family unit, and the family unit doesn't really work too well if either the mom or the dad or whoever is one of the parents stays away too long from home, because anyway, because I remember, like, for instance, for us, my dad was on the road all the time, and it was not the best. It was not the best. I'll let you know that much. In some ways it was good, in some ways it was bad, but you do kind of miss, growing up, having your dad around does, in some cases it's good, in some cases it's bad. Now, you can't just blanket it across. It's not a cookie cutter thing, but in some cases, it would have been cooler to have a dad around for a little bit more time. So anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens with all of that. Some people will be totally on like, oh yeah, everybody get back to work or whatever. But you know what that does to traffic and pollution. So, and you've already noticed it. It's no longer COVID. The traveling restrictions and all that stuff are not in effect anymore. And you see it on the road. The traffic is out of control. And which is why I don't like going to LA ever. I stay away from LA whenever I can. When I'm forced to go to LA because I'm some of the driver in the family, then I will go to LA. But if I can avoid it 100%, I will. And I do. So anyway. All right, I'm going to end the live here today. Just make sure you, who definitely would go and vote on Prop 69. That would be Russell Brand. He would be one of the first people to get in there and vote yes on Prop 69. So if you haven't done that, or you haven't helped some people put it on the ballots, you probably should go and help them out. It's worth it. Because you need to give voters something worth to vote for. Otherwise, they're not going to vote or register to vote ever. So yeah. Anyway, before we leave, let's give a massive shout out to Horizon Hobby for providing me with Real Flight Evolution It is loads of laughs. It is really fun. And it gets me up in the morning to get something fun to be done. Again, I have not registered for stuff. I need to go register and do this because it's worth it. And if they even send me like one sticker, that would be something cool that I will put over there. I really wanted to get stickers from the Pilot Institute, but I don't know. Prove me wrong. But so far, I know that the FAA website does not allow for PayPal, and so many other websites should have PayPal. Just get PayPal. Come on, man. Let's not be in Middle Ages forever. Let's get PayPal and insert it into as many websites as possible, because not everybody likes to put their credit card information and things and get them hacked, and then lose and then have to redo your credit card, which has happened to me so many different times, which is why one of my friends was like, you know what, PayPal is the solution to that. And I jumped on that train and I never got off it. Never got off it. The PayPal train is the way to pay for pretty much everything. Oh, anyway, life, right? Big fan of this controller here from Spectrum. I like this one as well as the one that came with the Aero Scout. It is cool. It is awesome. Let's say goodbye to some of our awesome YouTube channels that are everywhere here on the wall and will always remain on the wall back here because of the cool things that they do and the inspiration that they give us every day. Some of the cool things that I did and added sparkles to. And then let's not forget excellent Shengmei over there. We've got D Domisol, we've got Color Farm, and all of the cool things that you can get on Amazon, such as these for your Apple iPods and stuff, your earphones, ear aids, I don't know. Whatever they do these days, there's cool stuff that you can get. Let's take a quick look at some of the latest and greatest channels that I've added here to the list. I've added some sparkles here too. I'm not sure if they're very visible or not, but hopefully that will make up for not being able to print them out in color, which I wanted to, but I ran out of ink. So there we go. Have an awesome day, guys. Wishing you the best as always. And remember to vote on Prop 69 or the world will never become a better place. It'll always be the same, because you can't put the politicians in check if you can't dock their pay. And I'm going to leave you with that and see you in the next.